Listen to the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. That's the message of Pope Francis. In 2015, the Vatican published Laudato Si on care for our common home, a powerful letter to the world that reframes the conversation about the climate crisis. It examines the science and threat of global warming through a social and spiritual lens. A key concept is integral ecology, the idea that everything is connected. We are part of nature, and every aspect of our daily lives affects our ecosystems. We're also reminded that all living things are meant to flourish, and thus we must strive toward the common good. We cannot sacrifice nature's resources and people, especially the poor, for profit or power. Woven throughout the book are sacred texts that reveal our calling to care for creation. When I read the encyclical, I was deeply moved and also troubled. Little did I know then that my life was about to take a dramatic turn. My name is Elyse Brady. These are my two beautiful grandnieces, Elena and Isabella. They are the next generation who will inherit the earth. My husband and I live in St. Augustine, Florida, the oldest European city in the U.S. It's located on the Atlantic seaboard. A great cross marks the holy site where Pedro Menendez de Avilés came ashore in 1565 and where the first Mass was celebrated. In 2016, Hurricane Matthew raked the coast of Florida and flooded St. Augustine. The Category 2 storm brought a 7-foot surge and 275,000 gallons of sewer spillage into our Davis Shores neighborhood and our home. Once the storm passed, the treasured belongings of people's lives began to pile up along the curb, block after block. In the weeks and months following the storm, we lived in 3 places and our damaged home was demolished. We had hoped to rebuild, but less than a year after Matthew, Hurricane Irma struck and flood waters submerged our community again. While we didn't realize it at the time, we were climate refugees, part of the growing number of people displaced by natural disasters. In 2018, 1.2 million Americans moved from their homes because of climate change. By 2100, 13 million Americans could be forced to relocate from rising sea levels and submerging coastlines. We were fortunate, though, because we were able to move to higher ground, while many of our friends were left behind struggling. This experience was an awakening. After directing a nonprofit art organization for 11 years, I took a leap of faith and became a volunteer in our cathedral's newly formed Creation Care Ministry. Our goal is to share the Pope's message and to inspire a conversion of hearts that spurs action. During the COVID-19 shutdown, I became a certified Laudato Si animator and climate reality leader. This training prepared me to shape the focus of our group and to integrate my art background. So I produced promotional materials, including a website, a logo with the Great Cross, and a moniker for our volunteers, the Blue Dot Beacons, which was inspired by Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot essay about our fragile planet as seen from outer space. For the annual season of creation, I spearheaded a pilgrimage for the planet at the Mission Nombre de Dios in St. Augustine. Pilgrims took part in spiritual reflections and environmental acts of goodwill. Our ministry group has also produced online lectures, and for Advent, we launched a tree planting campaign to give back to the earth that sustains us. Like plein air artists throughout history, my muse is nature. This painting series is inspired by the mystic quality of trees and their vital role in mitigating global warming. The works are part of an eco-art curriculum I'm currently developing. We can all live Laudato Si by making choices that reduce consumption, giving voice to nature by writing letters and voting, beautifying spaces by picking up trash or gardening, and sowing hope, like I tried to do with this social media signpost blitz. In the dark days of the global pandemic, Pope Francis celebrated the imaginative ways people around the world were connecting and expressing themselves. He called it the creativity of love. When we cleaned out our shed after the flood, this soggy self portrait was among my salvaged artwork. I did it many years ago, and I'm not sure why I drew the wings. Now I see it as a metaphor for my ecological conversion. As environmentalists, we often teeter between hope and despair, but our solidarity in the global climate movement strengthens our passion and our purpose. I believe when we open our hearts and dwell in our imaginations, our gifts can be turned into expressions of love for the earth, for one another, and especially for the future generations who will inherit our common home.